Company, everyone. Ben Brown here. Today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be looking at the Zev Tech OZ9. A lot of features going on with this firearm. It is a Glock platform, so yes, it does take Glock mags. And again, a lot to cover with this gun. It does a lot of things really, really well. There's some big potential for this platform down the line. We'll get into that. I specifically have the Zev OZ9C. That's what I ordered. It's a Glock 19 size firearm, but I also ordered the larger frame, the standard frame, so I could make it into like a 19X G45 size platform like you see here. All right, this thing is fancy. A lot of bells and whistles with the OZ9. It is going to come in a case like you see here, this red airplane travel size case. It's like a Pelican case. Again, you can fly with this if you wanted to. Inside of it, you're going to see a Magwell DACA pouch. There's going to be some instructions in that, like a user's manual, thank you note, that sort of thing. Nice touch using the DACA pouch, Zev Tech, because I like using things like that for other stuff, make it into a fire kit, make it into a cleaning kit, all sorts of uses for DACA pouches. If you haven't had one, or tried one, I highly recommend picking up a Magwell DACA pouch. So, including one of those, nice touch. You're going to have 2 magazines inside. Again, I got a Glock 19 size, so they included 2 Magpul 15 rounders in there. I did run Magpuls and regular factory Glock mags through this gun. Both worked great. No problems, no issues there at all. As we all know, Glock mags run really well. We like to use them in everything. The newer Magpul Glock mags have had some issues, but I haven't really experienced any of those on my end. I'm sure some of you have out there. Just know you're going to get 2 mags with it. Okay, starting out, a lot of modularity with the OZ9. Zev took a page out of SIG's book and serialized the internals of these guns. What that means is you can take the guts out of an OZ9, drop it into a different frame size, and you don't have to do another background check for a firearm. There's not a ton of gunsmithing. There's no gunsmithing. For this one particular, you just pop the front pin. You can take those guts out if your slide's off and drop it in a different size frame. That is really, really modular. This helps you down the line if you want to add to your Zev collection, or maybe the seasons are changing, so you want to either go from a lighter gun to a heavier gun, take a little bit more capacity, or you want to go from a concealed carry to a competition style handgun. It just gives you a lot of options. There's a lot of modularity. And I bet you're going to ask, well, that's cool. The internals are serialized and you can swap frames around, but I bet you those other frames are pretty expensive. No, not really. For 60 bucks, you can get another size frame to drop your internals in. That's not bad at all. They come in 3 different colors, I believe. The one I have is gray, and then the Glock 19 size is black, and they also have a Coyote or FDE color. You can just simply, again, pop that front pin, take your internals out. It'll have the trigger, it'll have the front rail, drop it in a different size frame, put your slide back on, go about your business. This is pretty darn cool when we're talking about investing in the Glock platform. I'm already highly invested in the Glock platform, got a ton of mags, got a ton of different components for it, holsters, which this OZ9 works with, all my pre-existing holsters that I've had for Glocks. You can continue using Glock components. All right, next let's jump into features. We're going to start from the top and work our way to the bottom. Again, there's a lot to cover. I'm going to highlight some of these features, what I really like as we go along. So as we come across a feature, I'm going to take a little bit more time than I will on some of the other ones. Starting on top, we do have a Gen 3 slide like I mentioned earlier. This slide is all sorts of cut up, a lot of texture on it, a lot of places to grip and grab. Most folks, when they buy a Glock, they're going to do that. They're going to get slide serrations. They're going to get a RMR cut on the slide or some sort of red dot cut. Since we're talking about it, this is cut for an RMR. You can buy slides for the Leupold DPP if you're interested. A feature that we should really take time on is this RMR cut. It's a very deep cut. So these sights, iron sights on here, they're standard height sights. And you're gonna get what some people are calling like a lower fifth co-witness through this window. It's really, really cool. You can see this dot sits just a little bit lower than most of the cuts you see out there. So again, you don't need to get any higher sights than what you typically would if you were just running an iron sight. So nice touch by Zev Tech by dropping this dot down into the frame, into the slide a little bit more. Speaking of iron sights, this gun was a ton of fun to shoot with just irons. I'm a big fan of running dots. The irons on here that you're getting right out of the box are phenomenal. They have a set screw in the back of the dovetail, so you know they're not going to slide out on you when you're heating up the gun. The front sight is a red fiber optic, and they provide a green fiber optic if you want to switch that out. The rear is serrated, the front is serrated. Just a high quality set of iron sights on this OZ9. Really, really liked shooting it with just irons. Barrel underneath is a match grade barrel. It has dimpling on it. They have a number of barrels to select on the website. Go over to Zev Tech, go to the website. You can pick threaded barrels, you can pick dimpled barrels, regular barrels, all sorts of barrels. They did a great job with the crown on the end of this barrel. Looks really, really nice, looks very clean. Underneath the barrel, you're gonna see a steel guide rod, which is a desire for a lot of Glock owners out there. They don't like the polymer guide rods that you saw in Gens 1 through 3. This is a steel guide rod in here. Nice touch, just a little bit more quality added to the firearm. This gun is not ambidextrous. You're gonna have your mag release that is textured. It's large and in charge. It feels like it is aluminum, and it is. Your slide stop is recessed. I think this is a very nice touch because I tend to override that slide stop a little bit with my grip. So having it recessed into the frame a little bit helps negate some of that overriding that I typically do with my left hand. Nice touch. It's not a big slide stop. It's nice and little. I don't need a large slide stop. If you wanted to put one in there, I'm sure you could. This one is just recessed inside the frame. Next, let's look at the trigger. The trigger was probably the biggest adjustment for me from switching from a standard Glock, stock Glock, to this OZ9. The trigger's really nice. It's lighter, it's smoother, it has a flat face. I like flat face triggers. It just gives you a little bit more leverage and a cleaner press when you're taking shots. That was the biggest hurdle for me because I wasn't used to it. You know, a few mags here and there, and then you get acclimated to this trigger. Again, it's just a little lighter, a little smoother. Very, very nice trigger. No surprise, Zev Tech's been doing triggers for a long time, and this one is no different. Very, very nice. Now let's talk about the frame. Frame is a little bit different of a grip angle than most of your Glocks. It is a little bit more perpendicular, if I had to say, and it has a more pronounced beaver tail in the back, so you can get a nice high grip, plenty of real estate to hold on to, and it's got one finger bump, which just kind of makes a very, very comfortable shooting handgun. The texture on it is some of the nicer texture I've seen straight out of the box. Most of my guns are retextured or stippled. This one is nice. If I had to compare it to another texture on the market, I would compare it to the M&P texturing. It's kind of fine, gritty, does a great job. I don't think I'll be sending this one out to get retextured because the stock texture that Zev Tech provides is really nice. Continuing on with the frame, the trigger guard is undercut and does have a relief cut, so you can get, again, a nice high, tight grip with this frame. It is very ergonomic and very pleasant to shoot. Moving down, last but not least, is the Magwell. This Magwell is well designed. It's not big. It's not hard to conceal. If you want to conceal it under a t-shirt, it only takes one pin in the rear of it to put it on or remove it. One gripe I had about the Gen 5 Glocks, these stock Glocks, was that they advertised a beveled, more lenient Magwell, but I never experienced that with those Gen 5s. I thought it was a poor attempt. So I've always wanted to add a Magwell to it without it being a huge funnel. I think Zev Tech did a good job with this Magwell. Again, it's not too big, smooth lines, made reloads really nice and easy. When I had this Magwell on the compact frame, it actually added to the feel of the grip because it squeezed my hand up high on the grip. There wasn't much room to get below that Magwell. It kind of just pinched and forced my hand right between the Magwell and the top of the grip. Just a really nice feeling when you're shooting guns fast. Okay, the big question, is it worth the 1,600 bucks? That seems like the #1 question I have received since posting that I had an OZ9 on Instagram. Everybody wants to know, is it worth the 1,600? You can buy a stock Glock Gen 5 for 500 to 600, depending what bells and whistles are on it, what's done to it. Is it that much better? I think so. I think it is. I think without a shadow of a doubt, it's better. For sure, the quality and the modularity is there. Quality, everything about this firearm is excellent. The machining, the way they ship it to you, the accessories, the components to help you be a better shooter, everything about it is high quality, everything that you would expect out of Zev Tech. The modularity lends itself to building upon a platform 5 to 10 years down the line. I want that modularity. That's what everyone liked Glock for to begin with. It was basically plug and play type components that built a huge aftermarket of support for the platform. So I'm already highly invested in Glock. This is a Glock platform. I can still use a lot of those components. And I know that Zev Tech down the line will be adding different frame sizes, slides, barrels, sights, different cuts and plates for future red dots. I have a lot of confidence putting $1,600 into a platform like this because I know I can get 10 years out of it. If you're not that highly invested into Glock, or you don't shoot that much, it might not be worth it for you, and that's okay. For guys like me, though, that have taken the time, spent the last 10 years and a considerable amount of money shooting these platforms, these Glock platforms, this is the next step for me. Is it going to replace all of my stock Glocks? No, probably not. I'm going to keep 1 or 2 here and there, but the modularity can kind of coexist with what I already have. So that's a huge benefit in addition to the quality when we're talking about that $1,600 price tag. Now, reliability. If the gun isn't reliable, then we're not really talking about much here, are we? I've only shot 600 rounds through this gun, and I can tell you right now, I'm gonna have to do more videos on the OZ9. I'm just gonna have to. There's a lot to cover. I wanna give you guys feedback on my round counts. 600 is not enough, in my opinion, although it's run all 600 rounds perfectly fine. I've run defensive loads and steel case and some really crappy ammo through it, and it's been great. But again, that's not enough. So reliability, you'll see more on that in future videos about the OZ9. And I'll also probably run more of the Glock 19 size frame, the compact frame, in future videos, because I want to give you guys some more B-roll, some more vision on that particular frame. In this one, I mainly ran the Glock 45 size or standard size Zev Tech frame. So future videos will consist of higher round counts and the smaller frame. Is the Zev Tech OZ9 on par with this guy right here? I have God knows how many rounds through this Glock 45. As you can see, the paint's wearing off of it. There's rust on it. This gun has been great. Yes, it is on par with this G45. It's easy to switch back and forth between the two without much loss of proficiency between the two. For example, if I switch between Glocks and SIGs, I'll notice a little bit of deficiency in my skills. Picking up the dot, grip presentation, trigger press, you lose some feel going back and forth a lot. With these two platforms, I don't lose that much muscle memory or feel, for lack of a better term. So yeah, it is on par with this. Again, if that reliability continues to be there with the OZ9. And last but not least, and this is important to some folks out there, this gun is made in the United States, completely made in the United States. Glock, over the recent years, months, is starting to take a lot of their production back over to Europe. Mainly because they hate Americans. Yeah, they do. They don't listen to anything we say. They don't care about us. They sell guns over here because we are the lion's share of the market. But let's be perfectly honest. Glock really doesn't like us. Europeans really don't like us much either. So if you're a made in America type individual, that's something to look at when we're talking about Zev Techs. Do I really care if Glock likes me or not? No. I want their products to work for me. I could really care less if an Austrian thinks I'm cool or not. I just don't care. So that's what I want out of Zev Tech. I want their products to work for me. It is a plus that's made here in the United States. For a lot of you, that's a big deal. For me, I consider it a perk. Take it for what you want. All right, guys, jump down in those comments. Let me know. Price tag's pretty steep on this one. Is it worth it? Did I make any good points? I'm personally not trying to sell you on this gun. I get nothing out of it. I just really, really like it. I think they did a great job. I'm excited about continuing to use it. I want to hear from you guys, though. I'm sure some of you out there already have an OZ9 in some sort of configuration. There's a multitude of ways you can get these guns. Go over to zevtech.com. You can see for yourself what is available. My name's Ben Brown. Thank you for watching this video. Go over to wisemancompany.com. That is the best way to support us. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. You guys are what make it happen. I'll see you on the next video.